Now, since we are all the way from home this weekend, we're going to talk about a timely topic, eating in restaurants. How many people like to food shop and meal prep and cook every meal 7 days a week? You guys can come to my house, because I do not. But look at the rest of us, right? You know, so clearly not everybody does. I got 3 hands in the whole room. So we do takeout, right? We go out to eat a couple of times a week. In my house, it's pizza on Sunday. It's Chinese takeout once a week. And then maybe we'll go out to dinner on a Saturday night. And I travel a ton, but I still want to eat healthy, have tons of energy, and enjoy my food, right? So it seems like a tall order, but it's totally doable. In fact, for me, sometimes it's easier to eat healthy when I'm traveling because I only have to worry about me. But that's a side note, back to you. How do you order in restaurants so that you're eating healthy, enjoying your food, and don't turn the experience into a nightmare? Well, first know that you are always, always, always the boss of your meal. When you go out to eat, restaurants want you to be happy. They want referrals, they want good reviews, and they'll try to be accommodating. Now, sometimes the waitstaff may not be so nice about it, but just smile and nod and ask them again, and I promise you, it will make your visit successful for you, and it'll be great for everybody else. So here are a couple of tips about eating out in the restaurant. Before absolutely anything else, decide if you're going to be eating a healthy on-plan meal or if you're going to have an off-plan meal. Because, you know, we're not on plan all the time, right? Every so often we have an off-plan meal. And if you're going to go off-plan, enjoy it. Enjoy it with gusto. Have whatever you want. Don't feel guilty. And then get right back on plan afterwards. That's the key, because if you go off plan, you stay off plan, that's where the trolley goes off the rails. Now, if you want to stay on plan, but know that having a glass of wine will cause you to go off plan mid-meal, which sometimes happens to me, then you got to skip the glass of wine sometimes. Because it's just all about choices, right? I say this all the time, there are no good or bad foods, there are only choices. And if you don't like the results you're getting, then you have to make different choices. So back to your eating out choices. If you're having an off-plan meal, like I said, enjoy it. If you're staying on plan, let's talk about a couple of strategies to make it simpler for you. First and foremost, eat throughout the day. How many people have, maybe on Thanksgiving, right? We're having a big meal, and so you don't eat all day, and then I see a smile. And then what happens at Thanksgiving dinner?
You have like 2 plates.
And then you're like, oh man, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. So it's absolutely key to have your regular meals throughout the day. PFC every 3, you know, keep them in the right size portions, keep them balanced with protein, fat, and carbs. What does that do? It keeps your blood sugar stable so that you're not going to have any cravings throughout the day. And when you get to dinner, you're not going to make some choices that would be, let's just say, questionable, right? Number 2, don't go to the restaurant hungry. So let's say you're planning your meals throughout the day. You have your afternoon meal at 3. You've got dinner reservations at 6. How many people think that sounds perfect? Right? It's 3 hours later, you're gonna have a meal. So, you know, that can be kind of challenging in restaurants, right? Because you show up at 6, maybe you get seated right away, maybe you don't. By the time you take your drink order and they take your food order and you get some appetizers to the table or some fruit to the table or a salad to the table, it's at least 6:30, right? Which puts you at a big risk for diving face first into the breadbasket, which defeats the whole purpose for having planned so carefully to have a good meal out. So I've totally done this. So but what can you do if the timing is a little bit awkward? You can have half a meal, right? I mean, so just keep the portions in protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Have half a meal. You know, maybe you've got a good balanced snack bar. So have half a snack bar so that when you get to the restaurant, you're not starving. you can enjoy the food the way you planned on. Then there's a challenge of actually ordering your meal. You look at a menu and we go, well, there's a lot of choices here. Is it fried? Is it sauteed? Is it grilled? Is something going to come with a sauce on it? What does that sauce have in it? So what I like to do, if I know where I'm going, is look at the menu online ahead of time when you're not hungry, so that you don't decide you want one of everything. We had our diamond dinner at the Union Oyster House on Thursday night, and so I looked at the menu online ahead of time. As happens a lot, the menu that was online was not exactly the same as the menu you get when you're there, but it's 75 to 90% about the same, right? So I picked a couple of things that I thought would work for me, that I would like, and then leave yourself a little bit of freedom to pick. So I was thinking about shrimp cocktail or oysters for an appetizer, and I was looking at the lobster salad, or maybe the swordfish for an entree. And what I ended up doing is I had a shrimp cocktail, and I had the lobster salad. And I asked her how it was prepared. She said, well, it's tossed with a little bit of mayonnaise and some balsamic dressing on it. I said, well, can I get it without the mayonnaise, and can I just get oil and vinegar on the side? And she said, sure. And so I was totally happy, on plan, had a martini with it. So it was all good, right? If I had the swordfish, which came with asparagus and mashed potatoes, I would have skipped the mashed potatoes because I knew I was going to have a drink with dinner, right? So I had my carbs there, and so I skipped the starchy carbs. It's all about choices. And just like that, you can start to pick your meals and your dinners without stressing about what to eat, when you'd much rather be enjoying the people you're sitting and eating dinner with, right? If there's no menu online, if you don't know where you're going, if, whatever, you can just follow a couple of simple guidelines. Got the menu in front of you, pick what kind of protein you want to have. Chicken, fish, beef, pork. I'm a big fan of salmon. I live here in the Northeast, so we got some really great fresh fish. So let's say they've got salmon on the menu, and I pick the salmon. I order it naked, without butter, or oil, or salt, because salmon's got some great oil in it already, some great flavor, and I don't really need a lot of other stuff on it. And then I ask them what veggies they've got that are fresh. Can I have those steamed without butter or salt or oil? Now, I'll add some when they come, but I'd rather me add them than have them come drenched in whatever the kitchen decides to put them in. And it's a super simple way to have a delicious and healthy meal at a restaurant. I will tell you, when I was practicing this presentation at home, my kid felt that I was totally remiss in leaving out the discussion about dessert, because it is his philosophy in life that every meal should have dessert. So let's talk about dessert, right? Again, it's all about choices. If you're out and you want to have, a lot of places will have fresh fruit on the menu, maybe with some nice fresh cream, have some of that, or a fresh fruit sorbet if you want to keep it kind of light and clean. But I'll tell you what, if you want to have that molten lava chocolate cake, go for it. But maybe that meal you skip the wine and you skip the bread. It's all about choices. How many people think dinner is just not complete without dessert? Chocolate people? Yeah, okay. So you might look at the menu and go, hey, that molten lava cake, it's got my name on it. And it's just all about making choices. So the very last thing to consider is how much food they're giving you. Most of the time when I go to a restaurant, I find that my plate is overflowing with food. And they give you like 10 to 12 ounces of salmon when, really, I kind of want just 5 to 6. So cut it in half and take a doggy bag. Have the rest of it for lunch the next day, which for me is fabulous because I'm all about looking for efficiencies. I hate to meal prep. I don't like to cook stuff ahead of time. So I've got lunch for the next day. It's super simple. And that's our fourth myth. You can go out to restaurants if you're living a healthy lifestyle. And we've got one more myth to bust next.